Today, let's have a look at using proportional symbology to display data on our map. In the simplest terms, this is when our symbols for each point on the map change size in relation to each other based on a numerical value that we wish to visually represent. As a quick disclaimer, I will not be going into as much depth as I would in my regular tutorials. If you feel like I'm going too fast and need to refresh your knowledge on the basics, I've linked the relevant tutorials in the description below. To begin with, we will need a table that holds the data we wish to work with. Conveniently, I've already done this and added them to this spreadsheet. Here you can see that I've got 6 rows of data and 1 row on top for my headings. I have 4 columns which ArcGIS calls fields or attributes. These hold data about my sites, latitude, longitude, and data, respectively. It is important that there are no spaces or special characters such as question marks, commas, or things like @ signs in these names, as it could crash your map later on. To add this data into ArcGIS Online, we have to save it as a CSV first. To do this, first click on the File menu. Then hover over to Download. And finally, click on comma separated values, open bracket, .csv, close bracket. Now we're ready to add data into our map. First, I'll click on the Layers icon over here on the left-hand side of the screen. I can then click on the drop-down icon next to Add. And from this drop-down menu, select Add Layer from File. From here, I can drag and drop or select the CSV from my device, like so. All my display names are good since they don't contain spaces or special characters. And as I've discussed in previous tutorials, ArcGIS Online is really good at selecting the right data types, so I'm going to leave them as is and click on Next to move on. Here I can see that my latitude and longitude fields have been mapped correctly, since longitude matches with longitude and latitude matches with latitude. So I can happily click on Next. From here I can choose a name and location for this data to be saved on the online server. I'm happy with the default, so I'm finally going to click on Create and Add to Map. Lovely, my sites have successfully been mapped. Remember that if you can't quite see where your data is, try and have ArcGIS Online automatically zoom to it by heading over to the Layers panel on the left-hand side and clicking on the 3 dots beside your newly added layer, and then finally by clicking Zoom to, like so. Now it's time to change our symbology. First, head over to the layer that contains your data over on the left-hand side, like so, and click on it. From here you can click on the Styles icon denoted by a multitude of shapes right here. Click on the plus field and choose the field that stores your counts. In my case, it's data. Then click on Add. If counts and amounts size has not been selected for you, please make sure that you select it from the list of available styles. If you would like to alter the size of the symbols in relation to each other, first head to the Styles option over here, scroll down to the size range and bring it down a little bit so that the maximum size isn't quite as big. Personally, I'm quite happy visually for my map to look like this, so I'm going to leave it. I recommend playing with these parameters to get used to them so you can find what works best for you and your data. I've also linked one of my tutorials below called Print Layout that discusses how to export your map in a way that is more professional than just a screenshot. If you want to go the extra mile and add labels to your data points, I recommend watching my previous tutorial named Labeling, which I have also linked in the description below. Well done for sticking through, and happy mapping!